This video will show you how to replace your rear spring and shock assembly on this Toyota Corolla. This is part of your rear suspension, located behind your rear wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To do the rear shock on this vehicle, we're going to put down our rear seat backs. Now once you have the back down on the side you're working on, we're going to make our way towards the trunk, right along this panel here. Now we have to dislodge the panel along the side. You're going to find that you have a push pin to be removed. I'm just using a trim tool. We should be able to pull this out of place. You can also use a flat blade screwdriver if necessary. Once you have that removed, just a quick inspection, make sure it's reusable. If it's damaged, you're going to want to replace it. You should be able to take hold of this panel and pull it out of place. That exposes the mounting hardware. A quick note about this, we are not touching this center mounting nut here. Let's move along to this area. Along the rear of the shock tower, this is where you're going to find a 14mm mounting nut. There's also a small threaded stud right here, but this is actually the threads for a bolt that comes through from the bottom up, so we don't have to do anything with that here. Along the front portion of this, there's another 14mm mounting nut. Let's get that next one off of there. Now we can pause in this area, and we're going to safely raise and support the rear of our vehicle. Once you've done that, you're going to remove all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts, and we can get the wheel off of here. Now that we have the wheel off of there, we have a clear view of our rear shock assembly. We can see the one last piece of hardware holding it to the body of the vehicle, but we're going to save that for last. Let's follow the shock all the way down to its mounting point on the rear axle assembly. We're going to remove our 19mm nut here. If there's a washer, you can remove that as well. We'll just see if we have a little movement here. It shouldn't go very far. We still have to make our way up to the top. That looks good. Now we've got that final 14mm bolt holding it to the body. There's our bolt. We're going to take hold of the rear shock, start pulling it away from the bottom here, and then we can pull it down and away from the vehicle. We can use a pry bar if necessary. There it is, friend. Prior to installation of the brand new shock assembly, let's make sure we clean and inspect the mounting areas. We're making sure nothing's rotted and weak. Everything needs to be reusable. It's time to install the brand new rear shock assembly. Let's get this in position. We're starting with the body of the vehicle. As we bring the studs up, we want to align them with their ports. We'll start bringing this up close to the body and start in our 14mm mounting bolt. I only want to go a couple threads here. I do need to move this around for the lower hardware as well. Now we can make our position down along the bottom. We'll swing this over, position it on the stud, and slide it on. If you find you're having a hard time pressing this on, it's common. You can use a small block of wood, a rubber mallet. We'll give this a couple taps. You just want to be very careful not to damage your shock. Along the bottom, we have our washer and our mounting nut. Down here, we're going to snug this up, and I'm going to torque it to 59 foot-pounds. Let's make our way up to the top. At this point, we want to be up at the top. We're going to tighten that bolt, but I want to have upward pressure. Typically, when you tighten the upper hardware, you want to have the full weight of the vehicle on the ground. Since the wheel's off, we're just going to apply pressure underneath the rear axle. You can do this under the shock if necessary. Let's press that all the way up against the body of the vehicle. Now we can be up here, we'll tighten up our mounting nut and torque that to 59 foot-pounds. Now you can remove support from under your rear axle. Let's get our wheel on here. We'll get that in place, start on all 5 of your 21mm lug nuts, we'll bottom them out. Get the wheel safely back down on the ground and torque each of these lug nuts to 76 foot-pounds. Now that we've got the wheel back on the ground, let's torque each one of our 21mm lug nuts to 76 foot-pounds. Torqued. Now we have the full weight of the vehicle on the ground, we're back inside the passenger compartment. It's time to start on the new hardware. For this hardware, we're going to be using a 15mm. Snug it up, the torque for this is 59 foot-pounds. Turned on. One last quick inspection in this area and we can protect it. Let's put on our panel. Just go ahead and flex it into place. It should slide underneath these plastic panels. Once you have it in place, it's time for your plastic push clip. Line it up, press it in. Let's fold this back up. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. Now at this point, you want to go over to the other side of the vehicle and repeat this exact same process. You always replace these as a pair. Once you've completed that, take your vehicle for a road test down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.